Hollywood glitz and glamour may come to mind when you think of film icon James Dean.
I got my car. You want to go with me?
But his roots are actually right here in Fairmount, Indiana.
James Dean was born in Marion, Indiana, 1931. His family moved here when he was just an infant. He lived here in Fairmount until he was 5, and the family moved to California. His mom died when he was 9, and his dad didn't think he could raise him on his own and keep a full-time job. So he came back here and grew up on the farm with his aunt and uncle and his cousins. Well, in high school, James Dean was very popular, and he was on a lot of the sports teams. He took part in the debate club and was in a lot of the high school plays. His speech and drama teacher, Adeline Knoll, saw his talent. She kind of pushed him along and gave him good roles in the plays, and he really enjoyed acting. So as soon as he got out of high school, he got on a bus and headed back to California.
The rest is Hollywood history.
You're tearing me apart!
Well, James Dean made 3 movies, 3 starring roles, and East of Eden was just an overnight success, and he was an overnight sensation, and went right on to do Rebel Without a Cause and then Giant. And at the time of his death, only East of Eden had been released. So it's amazing to think that a boy from this small Indiana town would end up in Hollywood, and just within a few years he was starring with Elizabeth Taylor. Went right to the top.
You always did look pretty.
David Lohr became enamored with the actor in 1974 after reading The Mutant King, a Dean biography. Soon afterwards, he started collecting pieces of memorabilia.
I was in New York where there was a lot of collectible shops, so I started picking up things, but it turned into quite an amazing collection.
But it quickly outgrew his New York City apartment.
I was traveling from California in 1979 to New York, and I went out of my way to stop in Fairmount for the first time. And nice, quiet little town. I got to meet his aunt that raised him, and then got to New York, and all I could think about was Fairmount. You know, it just made such an impression on me. I just started coming back and forth 2 or 3 times a year, and this big old Victorian house became available, and I thought, hey, maybe I'll do something. You know, maybe I'll put my collection in there. And just step by step, I managed to acquire the building, and in 1988, it opened up. Now
dubbed the James Dean Gallery, Lohr's collection has grown substantially over the years. Today, visitors can find everything from sculptures of the late actor to thimbles, lighters, and commemorative plates bearing his likeness.
Yeah, there's all kinds of memorabilia that's been made since the 1950s, right up till present. Soaps and shampoos and watches and clocks and you name it, T-shirts and coffee mugs and souvenir plates, and we have thousands and thousands of items on display.
The gallery also contains rare photographs of Dean in its library. A viewing room allows visitors to watch some of Dean's early TV roles. There are even a few of Dean's personal effects on display.
These are a pair of penny loafers that James Dean owned, and they're kind of hard to authenticate, but I knew the story behind them. But on the sole, there's a worn-out spot where he would drag his feet on the motorcycle, and his family owns 2 pairs of his boots, 2 or 3 pairs of his boots, and his motorcycle boots have that exact same spot worn out, and the heel is worn the same, so it's almost like a DNA type thing, the wear on the shoes, but yeah, they're pretty neat.
Fairmount has become something of a mecca for James Dean fans. The town even holds an annual James Dean Festival in September, where, of course, the James Dean Gallery is a favorite for visitors.
There's been over 400,000 people through the front door since I opened. It kind of blows my mind.
And while James Dean died in a car accident more than 60 years ago, Lohr still feels that his star shines as bright as ever.
He's multifaceted. I think people can identify with him in a lot of different ways. The Indiana farm boy, the New York bohemian, race car driver, painter, sculptor, movie star, actor. So there's a lot of different aspects to him that people can identify.
Or maybe it's simpler than that.
I think a lot of his attraction is in his looks, frankly. I mean, he looks terrific, and he still looks modern today. He doesn't look like an actor from 60 years ago. Whether he influenced that look or whether he was ahead of his time, I'm not sure.